But the devil, who hates and envies what is good, could not endure to see such a resolution in a youth, but endeavored to carry out against him what he had been wont to effect against others. First of all, he tried to lead him away from the discipline, whispering to him the remembrance of his wealth, care for his sister, claims of kindred, love of money, love of glory, the various pleasures of the table, and other relaxations of life, and at last the difficulty of virtue and the labor of it. He suggested also the infirmity of the body and the length of the time. In a word, he raised in his mind a great dust of debate, wishing to debar him from his settled purpose. But when the enemy saw himself to be too weak for Antony's determination, and that he rather was conquered by the other's firmness, overthrown by his great faith, and falling through his constant prayers, then at length, putting his trust in the weapons which are in the navel of his belly, and boasting in them, for they are the first snare for the young, he attacked the young man, disturbing him by night, and harassing him by day, so that even the onlookers saw the struggle which was going on between them. The one would suggest foul thoughts, and the other counter them with prayers. The one fired him with lust, the other, as one who seemed to blush, fortify his body with faith, prayers, and fasting. And the devil, unhappy wight, one night even took upon him the shape of a woman, and imitated all her acts simply to beguile Anthony. But he, his mind filled with Christ and a nobility inspired by him, and considering the spirituality of the soul, quenched the coal of the other's deceit. Again, the enemy suggested the ease of pleasure, but he, like a man filled with rage and grief, turned his thoughts to the threatened fire and the gnawing worm, and setting these in array against his adversary, passed through the temptation unscathed. All this was a source of shame to his foe, for he, deeming himself like God, was now mocked by a young man, and he who boasts himself against flesh and blood was being put to flight by a man in the flesh. For the Lord was working with Anthony, the Lord who for our sake took flesh, and gave the body victory over the devil, so that all who truly fight can say, "Not I, but the grace of God which was with me." Part 6. At last, when the dragon could not even thus overthrow Anthony, but saw himself thrust out of his heart, gnashing his teeth as it is written, and as it were beside himself, he appeared to Anthony like a black boy, taking a visible shape in accordance with the color of his mind, and cringing to him, as it were, he plied him with thoughts no longer. But guileful as he was, he had been worsted, but at last spoke in a human voice and said, "Many I deceived, many I cast down, but now attacking thee in thy labors, as I had many others, I proved weak." When Anthony asked, "Who art thou who speakest thus with me?" he answered with a lamentable voice, "I am the friend of whoredom, and I have taken upon me incitements which lead to against it the young. I am called the spirit of lust. How many have I deceived who wish to live soberly? How many are the chaste whom by my incitements I have over-persuaded? I am he on account of whom also the prophet reproves those who have fallen, saying, Ye have been caused to err by the spirit of whoredom. For by me they have been tripped up. I am he who have so often troubled thee, and have so often been overthrown by thee." But Anthony, having given thanks to the Lord, with good courage said to him, "Thou art very despicable then, for thou art black-hearted and weak as a child. Henceforth I shall have no trouble from thee. For the Lord is my helper, and I shall look down on my enemies." Having heard this, the black one straightway fled, shuddering at the words and dreading any longer even to come near the man.
If you are enjoying this series, please consider making a donation to the St. John of Damascus Orthodox Educational Initiative. We are asking the faithful to support our scholarship fund, which will help ensure that an education based on the Orthodox Christian faith and following the classical model is available to all interested families of our eparchy and other like-minded Orthodox Christians, regardless of their financial circumstances. We are also asking for donations to help us make renovations and improvements to our new physical headquarters, located on the property of the Holy Ascension Parish in Bearsville, New York. Please see the link in the description of this video to learn how you can donate and support the future of our church, that is, the youth of our church. God bless you. Through the prayers of St. John of Damascus.